Hello, fellow Manor Lords, and welcome to another challenge where this time I'm going to be showcasing a particularly crazy strategy. Basically, we're going to quickly grow population through an extreme approach, which will allow us to gain dozens of families from bandit camps all at once within the first year without any combat. Yes, you heard me correctly. We'll essentially be taking families from the bandits and getting them to join our town. This is a technique that I learned about a while back thanks to some viewers telling me, and it still seems to be a thing. So I'll show you exactly how to do it, and we'll also walk through the process of preparing for these massive influxes of population growth. Because gaining families extremely fast is great and all, but without the proper infrastructure to be able to sustain with enough housing, food, and resources, then it won't really work. So this is just as much an exercise in quickly setting up town infrastructure as much as it's about this cool trick with the bandits. And keep in mind, we'll also be gaining extra families from the Fresh Settlement modifier, as I highlighted in my guide for pop growth here on the channel. This approach can be done on any map or any settings as long as you have bandit camps enabled. I'm going to choose Divided because it's one of the smaller maps, and reducing the potential travel distance will be nice. I'll turn off other adversaries, and I'll also increase the initial bandit camps to 3. But you can make this work with any number of bandit camps, and you can have other enemies on the map too if you want. So let's get into it, and I hope you guys enjoy this crazy and unique strategy. Alright, let's get this going. So we'll take a look here at our region, and this is looking really good. Right off the bat, I can see that we've got rich berries over here, and then we've got rich fishing over here too. That's going to be really strong for us. Honestly, the ideal is probably a rich berries along with rich fertility, because then you can just create pretty much an unlimited amount of oat fields that are on max fertility, and you can just get so much oats from that very easily. But I think this is going to be really strong for us. Now, as far as if you're trying to do this on your own, you're inspired to try out this challenge, which I encourage you to do, because why not have some fun. But as far as when you're rolling your region, I would say the berries are pretty much a necessity, to be honest, or rich berries. You could probably get away with like a rich mushrooms instead, but the rich berries are probably still even a little better. But then, from there, you ideally do want to have another strong food resource option as well. In this case, we got the rich fishing, which is going to be good. Like I said, rich fertility is probably even a little better, especially if you can get a decent amount of fields set up pretty quickly, and you can just have so much oats rolling in. Which is going to be really big for this massive pop growth surge that we're going to be experiencing here. So let's go ahead and we'll just set up, get started here. Now we'll connect to the main road, and we'll just do something really tight-knit quarters over here. Now we're not really going to be going for any kind of super nice looking aesthetics or anything like that, because we're going to need to cram a lot of stuff in, pretty quickly here, and we also need to cram in a lot of housing space too. So basically, we're not necessarily going to be wasting any space potential that we could be using for more housing, additional housing space and stuff like that. So we're going to be maximizing the use of this nice. We have a nice little flat area over here. I do like this region. So we'll go ahead and, make sure we utilize that to the maximum of our advantage here. Okay, so first thing we want to do, before I get started real quick, I just want to double check my settings and make sure that I'm going to turn off the cosmetic day and night cycle. I usually enjoy having it on, it's really nice, but I don't want to go into nighttime here. We just want to stay in daytime. Okay, so as usual, we'll start with a logging camp. Now, obviously, we don't want to cut down too many trees over here around this berry deposit. We can, of course, make sure that we leave on the protect nearby resources option. I think, though, I'm going to go ahead and probably place it... Yeah, we can probably just put it over here for now as a temporary. We're going to put it right here for temporary, just as a starting spot. We will go ahead and order that second ox right away. And we can put down another hitching post, of course, so that there's a space for that guy. Okay. All right, and let's take a look here while that's going. Where is water, underground water? Looks like we have water access not too far from where we want to have all our stuff, so that's fine. We'll probably end up putting one over here, and just we'll make sure we're planning around that. Because I'm just thinking about where we're going to put housing, because we're going to need a lot of housing. So like I said, I'll be kind of walking through the whole strategy here as we're doing everything, and it'll all make sense. So I'm going to do 2 people in the logging camp here to start out. Should be fine. Okay, and then we're going to start placing housing, and what we need for, first of all, we're still going to be utilizing, as I mentioned, the fresh settlement modifier, which is, we just need to make sure we have at least 55% approval. Once again, if you haven't seen my guide that breaks down all this information, I'll link it in the description for you. But we're going to make sure to utilize as much regular pop growth as we can as well, on top of the whole bandit trick, which is going to come into play a little bit later on in the year. But first off, that means we just need to supply water and firewood to be able to reach that 55% benchmark. So first off, though, we're going to just place some housing, because in the first month we have a bit of a grace period here. So we're just going to go ahead and move forward with just housing as much as we can. Looks like we can put down 3 houses to start, because we have our initial starting wood supply of 6 logs. So we'll go ahead and get those 3 going right there. And I'll just kind of outline this road to mirror the same kind of shape there, so we can just fill this lined up with housing here. Like I said, we're going to want to build up as much housing, have as much housing space as possible. So we have a couple priorities here that we want to get done like pretty quickly. As I mentioned, of course, the housing, and just continuously building more housing. But as soon as we have kind of like our initial 6 or 7 housing spaces, so we have enough for our initial 5 families, and then 1 or 2 extra for some families to start moving in as soon as possible, we do need to get a forager hut up over here as quickly as possible, so that we can start maximizing our harvest of these wild berries. Now, I've covered this in other previous food production guide videos and stuff too, but some of this will the strategies and techniques utilized here will be on display, as far as how you can really maximize the harvest of something like a wild berries or wild mushrooms, which will be similar, because it has this teeming affinity, which is affecting the seasonal growing, just regrowing constantly of these berries. As we can see here, it says on the tooltip. Now we can also check our environment, and we can see here in the woodland, teeming right here. So we have a 62% effect of this as well, which is going to give us even higher a chance to regenerate the berries faster, essentially. So that's all really good stuff. We definitely want to be, we need to be on that as soon as we possibly can, basically. It looks like we're getting a couple more logs coming in here as soon as we have, let's say, 4 timber. Even if we only have the 2 by the time this one, or the 3, I guess, by the time this finishes, we can place 1 house. But it would be great to be able to get as many projects going as possible here. We could also just go for a double, so that when we start with just 2, let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that. That'll get us to 5 living spaces at the very least. Okay, and then like I said, we want to make sure we have water. Okay, and then a storehouse will be necessary as well. And I'm just thinking about where do we want to put this storehouse. Let's go ahead and get the storehouse. We'll put it right here, just kind of in this very centralized location. That should be good. Okay, so there's 4. We'll get that 5th living space opened up for them. Okay. And I think, let's see, these are supplies right here, so we can't move them out of the way quite yet. But what we're going to do is no market stall for now. We're going to staff that so that they grab these supplies that are here and get them stored. And then we're going to just create a little market area here real quick while we can. Okay. And we'll go, yeah, marketplace. Boom. Boom. 11 stall locations. That's going to be more than enough. Okay, great. And we have the extra living space that just came in. So let's go ahead our last thing before we start to get like berries going and stuff. Let's get at least one more living space. A double there will be good. And we can expand that to have another one even. And then now we're going to turn on market stall, and we want them to start supplying that firewood here at the market. And so with water and firewood, we can see our approval will be good enough for what we need it to be. Now, ideally, you do want to hit, by the time you roll over into April, the 1st of April, you want to have this living space opened up and have, your approval. You're fine if you're not at 55% by this point, but you do need to make sure that the house is up. We might just miss that window here for the very first move-in right here, but that's okay. We're going to be more focused on the, the bandit stuff, but we do also want to integrate this fresh settlement modifier as much as we can too. Okay, we can see we're starting to get the running out of food warnings. So that is our cue to start setting up the berries. Let's go like this. Okay, and we'll get a forager hut. We're going to put that right here. All right, great. Okay, so we're going to have a couple living spaces opened up here, so we'll have population growth opportunity. We should get the first one moving in mid-April here. Hit the mid-month window since we're on that fresh settlement modifier. Let's make sure that this gets done. Put it on high priority. Got people in other places when we need them here. Okay, good. Okay, so that's done. We have our forager hut ready. What I'm going to do now is take one person from the logging camp. We'll just leave one on the logging camp. We'll put them here. We'll assign a second person on there too. Okay, so now we have 2 people on the forager hut, and we should be getting pop growth starting to come into the town here very quickly. It should be two families moving in per month now moving forward, as long as we maintain that 55% plus, and we maintain living spaces available and everything like that, of course. And we need to make sure, we don't have an unlimited amount of starting firewood here, so we're going to definitely need to harvest a few more firewood as well. So we'll kind of think ahead about that. Maybe we can place a firewood cutter over here for now. But we're off to a pretty good start here. Like I said, we maybe missed that very first window of getting a family by April 1st, but that's not the end of the world for the challenge that we're doing here. Because we're definitely going to be... There we go. We just had a new family move in right there. So we got the mid-April window. There we go. Let's get this thing, this other hitching post out of the way. Okay, and we can see here our family, they're starting to gather a lot of berries. See, look, we already have a lot of berries coming in very quickly. And what we're going to do is, since we got a new family moving in, put them on here as well. We're just going to have them at the maximum amount of workers that we can have on this forager hut, as we're working on other things as well. Okay, so we got, make sure another living space. We have 2 right now. We have the option to add another one here. Okay, so pantry is full, forager hut. Now we need to, we probably should have done this already. We need a granary to be accessible in here. I wish these supplies weren't still in the way. I would love to put the granary right there. But that's not the end of the world. We'll just put the granary... Yeah, we'll put the granary right here on this side then. Okay. And since this, that was a little bit of a misstep there, but since I forgot that we're going to quickly fill up our pantry space here, and we probably should have had the granary done already. So I'm going to free up some extra workers here so we get this granary done quickly. But in the meantime, we still have people moving in. We're still fine. Just a little slip there as far as the maximum efficiency of the berry gathering. All right, there we go. So now they'll go ahead and start clearing that up, just taking it to the granary, get that restaffed here as much as we can. Perfect. And we had another family move in there too, I think, at the beginning of May, that window. Let's go ahead and add that expansion there, make sure we're staying ahead on living spaces. That's all looking quite good. We got timber around, so very nice. We're looking really good. We also have food on the marketplace now, so our approval's looking very strong. At least for, these starting stages, we have more than enough approval rating to carry us through here. So good, yeah. And see, they're just constantly. Look how many berries we've already gotten. 77 berries, and this thing just keeps continuously replenishing. I don't know if you noticed right there as I was hovering over this tooltip, you saw it. It was at 70 or 80 some, and it shot back up to like 80 or 90 some. So it's going to continuously regenerate, and that's where hopefully we're getting a little extra regeneration too from that teaming bonus in our environment, in our environmental affinity. So that's all really good stuff. Let's go ahead and add some more housing here. And let's see, we can probably place, yeah, let's do 3 houses right here. That's perfect. Okay, as soon as someone else moves in, we'll go ahead and staff the woodcutter, because we do need a bit more firewood. We're starting to run low on firewood, and we need to keep that supplied for our approval. Although at this point, now that we're supplying food as well, it's not as critical. But I'm going to go ahead and staff that just so they can at least start stocking up on some of that. And since we're getting starting to get a little bit ahead on, we have a decent amount of logs, I'm going to have them start chopping trees that are over here on the other side of the walkway, because I do want to make sure that this stays preserved. Obviously, I know we have this protect resource area is checked, but I just want to make sure that we're not chopping down that forest excessively over there. But yeah, looking really good. Look how much food we already have. I mean, the berries are still, in my opinion, like absolutely S tier. I've been working on revamping because I have a food production tier list here on the channel, and it might be it's a little bit outdated now at this point because so much has changed. But it's definitely berries are something that I still very highly rate as S tier. I've been working on a revamped guide for that, and yeah, berries are still very high. As you can see, we're just generating so much food already. And like I said, we're just keeping up as we're kind of staying ahead on the basics, such as making sure we have enough food and firewood and all that kind of stuff. We're just continuously adding housing space. Now, I'm also going to add like a pretty large backyard area here for like vegetables, for example. Maybe it doesn't need to be quite that big. Let's go, I think something like that should be good. Okay. All right, looking very good, very good. Now we're going to need to build a manor by the end of the year. So we don't really need, like I said, we're not going to be really using any combat. We're not going to be engaging in any combat with these bandits, really. But we are going to need at least some form of units to send out there into the field. Now, we could technically use our spear militia, you know what I mean? But that's going to take away from our, workforce, and I'd rather just use the retinue from the manor, because it's a little bit easier and more efficient, so kind of why not situation, So that being said, we are going to need a little bit of stone and planks. So we're going to go ahead and set up a saw pit. Oh, real quick, we can see here some of our resources are being stolen by the bandits, which could set you back, if you're, having a hard time keeping up with like food and stuff like that. That being said, we are going to end up getting those resources back. That's another, aspect of this strategy that's pretty strong. So we'll be showcasing that in a bit here once we get to that. For now, we're going to go ahead and do a saw pit right here, and then we'll get a stone gatherer camp. We'll go ahead and put the stone gatherer just back here too out of the way, because it's just going to be a temporary thing that we're going to utilize. We're not going to have the stone gatherer there forever, because we're just going to get as much stone as we need, really. And then we'll also get our storehouse upgraded. These are all just kind of the basics. Of course, we're staying ahead on living spaces. Our food is super strong, and we haven't even touched the fishing. That's another thing we should probably start, utilizing as well. But just to kind of really show you guys how strong berries are, you can really see the power there coming into play. So we're going to get a fisherman's hut over here. So I'm going to put that on high priority. So that's their initial focus, because we can get that staffed up. Looks like they already got the other stuff done anyways. Okay, so I'm going to staff up someone for the... See, we have a lot of families at our disposal since we've been, gaining the max amount of families pretty much so far anyways. So let's do double staff on the fisherman's hut. Okay, so they're starting to get winding down here, so I'm just going to reduce the number of workers here on the berries so that it can replenish a bit more, but see, it just went back up a little bit there already. But I mean, look how many we already have. We already have over 200 berries. I mean, look, the maximum amount that this berry deposit can hold technically is 145, but we've already got over 200 berries. Looks like some of them are starting to get consumed a little bit, so it went down, but you know what I mean. Like, we're gathering more than the maximum cap for this resource deposit. So it's definitely working out very well. Let's make sure we get the construction expansion on this house too. Looks like we had some more families move in. Let's get one of them assigned to the saw pit so we can start getting some planks under production. And once we have, we're not going to have, you know, money for a little bit. Usually we'd be zooming on our economy, you know, quicker than this, but we've got, you know, some other goals that we're trying to meet in this case. But we will get some economy going here now that we're a little more set in some other ways. We can go ahead and set up a trading post over here too. But we're going to keep an eye on our planks here. Let's go ahead and set a reserve on the timber too. Make sure we keep timbers around for our construction tasks. But we want them to produce basically as many... Oh, these guys are sick. Okay, let's find another family that's not sick, because the sick family, they're not going to be able to do any work while they're sick. So I'm going to move a different family over to the saw pit so they'll actually get to work. All right. And he's already got 5 timbers over here, so we should start cranking out these planks pretty quickly now. Another family moved in. Perfect. Okay, there we go. As soon as we get up to enough planks to upgrade our storehouse, we'll go ahead and do that. We still have a couple empty living spaces. I'm just keeping an eye on that. It's constantly keep an eye on that. You got to always have living spaces available. And honestly, we need to continuously ramp up more. Like, we need to have as many living spaces open as possible here. So we're a little bit behind, but we do need to get some other stuff going here, like upgrading our storehouse, for example, getting the manor going, etc. Making sure that people are working on other stuff while we're expanding our pop, because we can't ignore, like I said, it's not going to help us if all of a sudden we get, you know, 20 families to move in or whatever, and we don't have enough food or supplies to you know, sustain them. Let's maybe grab a little bit of the road action here. That should be fine. Squeeze in these couple houses right here. Okay, good. Our storehouse is upgraded. That's going to help us out with logistics, as always. We got a good amount of firewood. I mean, now we're starting to bring in the fish, too. I mean, look how much food we have. Technically, we have enough food for 10 months. You know what I mean? But, of course, we're going to gain a lot of people, and then that number's going to go down pretty quickly. All right, so right now we're just building more housing. Honestly, as much housing as we can possibly get now at this point. We need as many open living spaces. Let's add another... There's a double plot right there that we can put in, for example. Okay. We can add some more over here. And we're just going for the maximum amount of living spaces. So, like, this one, for example, is 3. But if we do 2 doubles and we can get 4, that's great. Let's do that. We just want as many living spaces as possible here. All right, they're stealing a bit more of our stuff. Once again, you know, it's not too big of a deal because we're looking pretty well stocked up. But we will end up getting some of that stuff back. Or all of it eventually. But more on that once we get there. But just in case you're, you know, following along and trying to do the strategy for yourself, don't be alarmed if the bandits are taking so much of your stuff and you're kind of maybe riding the line with food or supplies. You will end up getting some of that stuff back, and it'll help you recuperate once you get the massive surge of population. Okay. We're just going to keep on adding housing, like I said. Okay, and then we're making a bit more planks. Let's see. We're not going to be able to make too many more planks because we're just going to be like full speed ahead on these building tasks, and while they're moving the timbers around for building houses and stuff, they're not really going to be bringing them to the saw pit. So we'll free that up there. we can go ahead and once we're ready, we'll go ahead and get the manor. I mean, we're pretty much ready at any point, I guess, realistically, but just want to, like I said, we're just really adding as many housing spaces as possibly can right now. Okay, we'll let them stay here for, it's gonna keep regenerating a little bit, so we'll just have them keep maximizing that. But we have so much, look how much food we have. It's really, really good. We're gonna be in a great situation here. All right, let's chill on the fishing for a sec. Let that pond kind of repopulate a little bit more. We're adding those extra living spaces on those houses, and then we'll even add a couple more. Like I said, we're just gonna literally fill this out. There's 3, but then we can get 4 if we go like that. Perfect. That's what we want. Okay, autumn started. Okay, so probably like over the winter is when we'll go out and get the bandits, round them up and do the whole thing. So that way, like I said, the goal here is to try to see how much we can get within the first year, just to really kind of showcase to you guys how incredibly powerful this is. They're gonna keep getting all the berries out of there, but we'll just leave them for now. And we have a very strong amount of food, though. It's really good. We just need as much as we possibly can. And matter of fact, is there even another? I'm just kind of looking if there's like a hunting deposit or something. Looks like it's just iron and clay. But, you know, for example, if there was also like a regular hunting, I'd want to utilize that too. I mean, we could also, you know, you could also try to get, like, we don't have good fertility, but we could try to get like a, you know, a rye harvest or some oats or something like that to help out as well. But that's going to be, you know, some additional construction tasks that might, you know, get in the way of you adding housing and stuff, which might not be ideal. Okay. Let's make sure they have roadway access down to here where they're getting the logs from. And matter of fact, we should probably even be, since they're getting the logs from over there, we should probably add more housing like over here, because this is going to be easier access for them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 houses. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, see, that gives us 6 if we do that. So perfect. Let's do that. We just put in these over here. We're going to put the extensions on these. I mean, it would almost be another good idea, to be honest. Maybe we could have done it earlier. This might be like a questionable decision. I'm going to maybe go for it anyways, but we could even order a 3rd ox into the town and just use pretty much all of our starting money for just the maximum amount of ox to move these timbers around and get these construction tasks completed. So that might be, you know, if you guys are doing this on your own, maybe go ahead and you could consider that. That's a bit more extreme. You know, it is nice to have a little bit of extra money around just in case you need it for whatever reason to unlock a trade route or anything like that. But if you guys are starting this from the get-go and you're comfortable with it, I would probably recommend just go ahead and do that 3rd ox as soon as you can, pretty much. Okay, getting into October here. And like, honestly, we could use the maximum amount of houses. Like, we probably could have even built, like, instead of this trading post, we could have put in just more houses, to be honest. I did want to make sure, just in case, like, we do want to get like a garden planted here, for example. That's going to cost some money, you know, things like that, because then that's going to really ramp up some more food production. The berries and the fishing can only go so far, you know what I mean? We'll put 2 more families on the fishing just for the last little, you know, amounts that they can get here before the ponds freeze over in winter. But we have 3 ox in the town now. They're stealing more of our resources. That's fine. Let's see, where are they going off the road? Like over here. Let's make sure they got roadway access. Make it a little quicker. Just keep on expanding. Okay, we're starting to get a decent amount of additional living spaces open now. Just literally as many as possible. Okay, and then let's go ahead and get our manor going. I'm just going to put it somewhere that's like in a decent proximity to like all of our building materials and stuff like that. So honestly, I'm just going to put it like up over here, I think. That should be fine. Okay. And of course, it keeps telling us that the work area is empty on the berries. It keeps replenishing a little bit, and we're just maximizing our harvest from it until it's actually winter, and then it's legitimately not getting any more. Let's make sure our logging camp still has work area over there. Okay, we got these houses all done. Manor's looking like it's pretty much already done as well. That's great. We're just full steam ahead on more housing. Another double plot here is good. Let's go with that. And you guys are going to see why we need all this housing very shortly. Because all this housing is going to get used up in a blink of an eye. Okay, this manor is just about done. There we go. Manor is done. Okay, perfect. So, until we get into winter here, we're pretty much just going to add as much housing as we possibly can. Just keep on adding housing. So you can see why we turned off the saw pit, because all these guys are just, they're busy moving the timbers around to the construction areas for these houses and stuff. They're not really going to have any time to bring them to the bring the logs to the saw pit, you know. Okay, so this is 3 right here, but we can turn that into 2 doubles and get to 4, and we have just the right amount of logs for it. Okay. So yeah, honestly, I'm not really sure. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure exactly how many families exactly you're going to gain, like, per bandit camp. But you know, pretty much the goal is to just have as many open living spaces as you possibly can. We might even move our, let's go ahead and move our lumber camp. Let's move our lumber camp over here. Hopefully that'll help with the efficiency with all this stuff. Move the hitching posts right over there too. Okay. Since we're having them cut the trees that are over here. Okay, we have a couple more houses that are done. Add the extensions. We don't have quite enough timbers yet. That's fine. We will have them momentarily, hopefully. And then we can add even a couple more houses over here in this space that we cleared up. Okay. That one is added. As soon as we can, we'll add that one. We need to restaff this. We'll maximize this now. Probably should have had more people on there too. While we've been having we have so much labor available, since we've been getting 2 families per month moving in from the fresh settlement modifier. So we're already, honestly, we already have pretty much max pop growth outside of that very initial April 1st window. We've gotten every single family that we could get, which is 2 per month for the entire year here. So we've already got a lot of families and a lot of pop growth. But you guys are going to see here, once we execute this plan, which is coming very shortly, it's going to be buku. Alright, these 2 doubles here, yes they are. Go ahead and add 2 more doubles. We probably should, let's go ahead and add another person to the storehouse and another person to the granary, because, you know, why not? We have all this staff available. We don't need anyone working on the fisher or the forager over the winter. Not that they're necessarily super busy doing other stuff anyways, but, you know. Yeah, our supply is more than fine, so We're in the green on both categories there. Let's go ahead and tell them to add some overstock, though. Decent amount of overstock, because then they'll be a little bit more ready for the influx of population. And hopefully this doesn't get too choppy here as we're in winter with the getting flashbanged by the snow. Apologize if it does, but I was trying to improve my recording settings and stuff recently, so hopefully we'll be all smooth here, even during the winter. Let's see, we got those houses done over there. Let's add... We can add 2 houses. Yeah, 2 singles right there is fine. That'll be fine. Just whatever we can add, wherever we can add it, that's great. Cool, and we're starting to get back on track with timber. So now that we moved our lumber camp over there, fully staffed it, we got 3 ox in the town, so we're just keeping up with all that, so that's great. Add a few more houses over here where we freed up this space as well. So we'll go from 3 to 2 doubles, so we get to total 4. Perfect. Okay, we're really starting to rack up the living spaces, so the available living spaces. Alright, so we're about to come into January here, so we're going to go ahead and deploy the plan here. So what we're going to do is rally up our retinue. Rally them up. Okay. Got retinue all rallied out here. I'm going to turn off run command because I don't want them to be wasting their stamina. So let's take a look at the map here. So we have a brigand camp over here, a bandit camp over there, a bandit camp over here, and a bandit camp over here. So I think first what we'll do is we'll probably head out to this far bandit camp. We'll move down like through the middle area and then aggro this bandit camp and then aggro this one on the way back and bring those 2 at the same time into our town. It'd be cool if we could grab all 3 at once, but you know, it's not really like necessary. You know, you could try to grab as many as you possibly can, basically, based on how much living space you have available. But what I'm going to do is just go ahead and send these guys, like I said, we want to send them traveling across the middle of the region. Just going to have them travel down the center of the map here. And then they'll be getting into position to aggro those bandits and bring them back to our town. So while they're on a mission there, headed out to the bandit camps, we're just going to keep on adding living spaces. Okay, we have a decent amount of food. So as you can see, I mean, obviously, since, as I mentioned, it's not like we're not gaining any population until all of a sudden we do. We're still gaining a lot of population as this is going on. So, you know, your food supply, you really need to have just like literally as much food as you possibly can have, because it's gonna deplete very quickly. All right, so let's also, for example, add a vegetable garden over here. Since we're in winter and we have some, you know, other staff freed up for other stuff, for example, too, we could go ahead and maybe add like a charcoal kiln, and then we could start selling charcoal. Although we will need to get a couple sales initially to be able to unlock that major trade route, which means we'll probably want to make some more planks. Let's go ahead and knock out some more planks real quick while we have an opportunity before we start making a few more houses here. Let's load up that saw pit, and then we can try to sell a few planks. Let's take a look at the map real quick, see where our troops are. Okay, so they're making good headway. They're about halfway down the map there. We'll keep an eye on them. Get them moving over toward the target location as soon as we can. Try to bring those bandits back by March. Within the 1-year mark, just for our, you know, kind of testing highlight purposes. Okay, good. We're getting some planks going here. Let's go ahead and stock our trading post. Get someone staffed there. We'll go export on planks. And we'll keep a surplus of like 10 planks around, just in case we need those for some construction tasks or whatever. But in the meantime, we have plenty of timber, so we should see these getting produced. And then we'll go ahead and staff up charcoal as well. start making some of that, so we're ready to sell it once we're able to get that trade route. Like I said, we did make a little sacrifice getting that third ox, but I think it was worth it, to be honest, because you just really need to like haul as many timbers around for construction of houses. All right, let's take a look. I think these guys are pretty much where we want them to be down here now. Yep. All right, cool. So we're gonna have them head over here and just close enough to get these bandits aggroed, and then we're gonna kind of take them back to our town. So we'll check in, we'll keep an eye on keeping tabs on that while we're still managing our town and everything over here. Okay, saw pit. So we do need to keep as many houses as possible. So just because we're doing some planks here doesn't mean we're done building houses. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a few more housing plots over here. It's kind of hard to see during the winter, of course, but okay, so there's 3 right here, and we'll turn it into a total of 4 with 2 doubles. That's good. Okay, good. And then we should have some, good, we have some planks already produced and selling, so that's fantastic. All right, good. Looking very good. So hopefully we'll get some money that we can maybe start selling a little bit of charcoal, for example, then really start making some profit, and then we can get some money that we need to maybe plant some, vegetables or something like that. All right, so let's take a look over here. We don't want to forget about our retinue, because as soon as they aggro these bandits, we need to get them to start moving away. We don't want them to engage with the bandits. We just want to aggro them. Just want to get them leashed on with our retinue, or whatever units you're sending out here, but retinue is probably the most preferred. Oh, looks like they jumped out of the, they kind of jumped out of the woods right there, but that's okay. We're just going to turn on sprints and sprint away. So I guess we had already aggroed the bandit camp, and we didn't realize, and they were in the tree line, so we didn't see them. All right, so we're sprinting. We're sprinting away. All right, so we aggroed that camp over here now, as we can see. So we've got 2 sets of bandits on our tail. So that's fine. We're sprinting now. We have run to positions activated. So we're just kind of avoiding these bandits as we run back towards our town. So we're kind of making a wide circle around wherever they're just like a dog chasing the mailman. They're just going to go to where your current location is. They're not really going to anticipate where you're headed. You know what I mean? So now that we're clear of that, we're ahead of them. We're just going to run all the way back to our town, basically. Okay. And we're just going to make sure we have as many living spaces ready as possible here. Look like we're starting to make a little bit of sales here. So we made one little sale of planks, which is enough for us to go ahead and unlock the charcoal trade route. Even though we don't have a horse, we can get, at least hopefully sometime, a major trader will come by and get a bulk supply of them, and it'll be a pretty good sale for us. And we're just anticipating, like I said, here comes our retinue, and he's got those bandits. They've got those bandits chasing them. So here's where the magic happens, guys. You're going to see what this is going to be crazy. Living expansion onto that. We want as many spaces as possible here. We'll see how many people end up moving in, how many we can convince to join our town. All right, so see, they kind of ran out of stamina. See, the orange bar is pretty much depleted, and then the run to positions got turned off automatically. So they pretty much ran out of stamina. All right, so we have this band of bandits is right here. And then there's a second one, right? Where's the second one? There's the second one. Okay. So now that we have them aggroed in our region, they're kind of close to our town. I just want to get them like a little bit of distance here, so they're not like right in the middle of our town. Because what we're going to do right now, this is the crazy part. So now that we've got the bandits over here, they're chasing our retinue. They want to kill our retinue. As soon as they're kind of close to doing that, and we've pulled them away from the town, as you can see, we've got some distance between the bandits and our town, but they're still within our region. What we're going to do, this is the crazy part, we're going to take our retinue, and we're going to disband. Boom. Our retinue is disbanded now. So that means the bandits, they don't have any, army to target. So now they're going to turn on, see, now they've turned on that symbol that shows the little flame there. That means they're coming to burn the town down, because we don't have any military force to engage them or to stop them. So now they're just going to be going straight for our town. This is exactly what we want. Now, this is why you want space between the bandits and the town, Because if you did that and they were already pretty much right at the town, they're just going to start burning stuff like right away. You're going to want a little bit of a grace period, a little bit of time here, because now we need to go to the map. And once again, the key thing is that you see that they have the flame symbol activated. We can see that they have that flame symbol. They're definitely coming to burn our town. That's what you want. Now you go to the map, which is basically your access to the diplomacy as well. And you're going to go to negotiation, and you want to do this one. Perhaps silver will convince you to join us. All right, we're going to do that, and we're going to send that message. Okay, there we go. We sent that letter to the bandits. So there we go. Look at that. Look what just happened. Your offer is generous. Let us lay down our arms and put aside our differences. We're stronger together. And all of a sudden, you guys see those bandits disappeared. Well, they didn't disappear. They all just moved into our town. Look at this. This is the notification window right here. You can see these. How many is that? We can take a look. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, kind of got interrupted there. I mean, you guys can see for yourselves here. I mean, we got, what, at least like a dozen families just all moved in all at once. And look at that. So we had like 20 some available living spaces, right? And now all of a sudden we only have 2 available living spaces. Look, we have, what, we have basically like 50 families. Look, we have 35 unassigned families now. That was on March 1st. So like I said, that is literally the 1 year mark. So within 1 year, I mean, look at this. This is crazy. Now, the real issue is that we need, we have 50 families that need to be fed and, supplied and everything, right? Now, we're already getting a warning that we're running out of food. But that's why I kind of, the timing there was that I waited until it was the end of winter and coming into the new year here. So now we're going to be getting these, berry deposits and the fishing deposits replenishing. And so we can go ahead and utilize those for some additional food production, because we're definitely going to need it, obviously, as you can see. And then, as soon as you can ramp up with other things, such as, adding a vegetable gardens or, add a farming infrastructure, whatever else, definitely going to need to do that very much as soon as possible. But yeah, that's the strategy, guys. That's it's pretty nuts, right? So like I said, there's another bandit camp over here, and even since we aggroed those other ones, looks like another bandit camp spawn, which is a little odd because we set it at 3 total maximum bandit camps that could spawn. As you can see, there are 4 here because I think it's registering that these bandit camps are now basically not bandit camps, but they're still there. Now this is where I come back to what I was talking about earlier, where you can get your supplies back. So we'll go ahead and rally up our retinue again. And we're going to take our retinue and we're going to just send them to those bandit camps. Because basically, these bandit camps are just now free, easy pickings. So our retinue can just roll up and we'll get the rewards from that bandit camp. That being said, look at our, our food and stuff is dire, right? So this is where we really need to, really need to ramp things up. So as soon as this berry deposit starts replenishing heavily and the fish and everything, we need to get that going as soon as possible. As soon as we have the money, we need to, plant some carrots. Honestly, we probably really should be setting up even some farming. We could go and aggro do the same exact thing with those other bandit camps, but now we've pretty much used all of our living space. We've used all of our food production power and everything, but now you guys can see the strategy, and so you can see now you can scale this up basically as large as you want, or as large as you can. Great, we just made a bulk sale of the charcoal there, so we can double check in our records. I just saw the plus 100 pop up. Exports right here. So a major trader came by and bought 50 charcoal is the max per trade, and then we got 100 coin. So that means we should have enough to plant carrots. Perfect. There we go. We're planting those carrots. And these guys, I want these guys fully focused on only farming in the backyard. So we're going to go ahead and put a corpse pit wherever, over there. And then we'll put these families on the corpse pit. Now this guy's a warehouse worker, so we'll replace them because we probably want to have that warehouse family assigned there. So we'll replace that. Okay, good. So now we have 2 full-time people on this veggie garden. Okay, the berries are starting to replenish a little bit. I'd like to let them get even just a little bit higher, so then we can really just hit it hard. Because we're riding the line right now, and we'll wrap it up here pretty soon. Of course, we've gotten through pretty much the main highlight of this video, which was that pretty much insane strategy, to get all those bandits moving into your town, coerce them into our town. Okay, so we took that bandit camp, the actual camp that was sitting there. We sent our retinue over there because now it's no longer guarded by enemies. It's just sitting there, and we can take these spoils of war for free. And you can obviously choose whichever one you want here, but this is what's really going to help us rebound. So if we go ahead and do send resources to the nearest town, you'll see, boom. So they had stolen firewood and some fish, and then we also got regional wealth. So now we got a little bit of food back. We got some firewood back. If they had stolen more food from us, we would have gotten all that back. So now we're recuperating some of our losses there. So we had that bandit camp, and then there was one more down over here, right? Yep. This was we got those 2 camps. So we're having them head to the other one there, and we'll check back in our town while they're doing that. So that's going to really help us bounce back. So we got the extra regional wealth. So that can allow us to purchase a horse, for example. Then we can really ramp up our economy. So we'll put a hitching post right next to the trading post. Okay. And I think after the next tick here. Yeah, right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's staff this up. I would like to do, obviously, as many as possible. We're just going to do 2 for now. And let's take a look at the fishing. What's the... so let's go down to 112. See, this one's like a ratio, though, with the pond. So you do realistically want to let it kind of repopulate a decent amount, because it kind of exponentially populates, The berries are a little more forgiving in that regard. But yeah, as long as now we've got this big carrot garden coming in here, berries are being harvested again, and soon we'll start getting fish again too, and we're about to grab that other bandit camp as well. And then if they stole food from us, we'll get that back. We'll get a little more regional wealth. So, see, that's what really helps you bounce back from it too, because it's kind of a 2-part thing, right? Because you get the people to move in, but then it's like you've spent so much of your time and resources and everything just to be able to make that happen. Then you're just like completely strapped, and you're just like riding the line. But then having basically free access to go back and take those camps and get the spoils of war, that's what really helps you rebound, and then you can actually move forward and utilize that surge in pop growth properly. You know what I mean? So we've got plenty of charcoal. Nice. We can see they are selling it. Hopefully that horse will be here soon. They'll have more selling power. Okay, great. So looks like our retinue took that other camp over here. Same thing. We're going to go send resources to the nearest town. And look at that. We got some berries back. We got some fish back. We got some more regional wealth. Perfect. Now we're just going to bring our retinue back to the town again. They went, did their duty there. So those 5 retinue soldiers, have really, they've really pulled their weight in a lot of ways, as far as, doing all those important tasks that we needed with just that. Cool. So we got a little boost there, a little help in our food situation. We've got some more wealth ready to go. So that's where, for example, we could, maybe add some more, like another big backyard extension, or we could maybe think about, let's start adding some like animal pens or whatever, chicken coops, whatever you're feeling like. Animal pens are probably a little better, especially if we go ahead and take a look at our environment again. We can see we have a pretty decent bonus for like the pigs, for example. That's probably not a bad idea to capitalize on. So, we can go ahead and place a bunch of pig pens here. Great. And we've been making plenty. Look, we have plenty of timber and planks now. I mean, things are looking really good. They gathered all the stone that was over there. These guys have just been chilling. I mean, we have so many workers available anyways. It doesn't even really matter. You know what I mean? We could just staff up everything to the max and, like, whatever, you know? So now we can see the fish are starting to repopulate in a stronger number. I would say after the next tick, once it goes up one more time, we can probably staff it again, because then it'll have a little bit stronger exponential growth there on the repopulating of the pond. Looks like our horse is here now. Let's make sure that guy's assigned here. Yep. And so our guy is out trading right now. So once he comes back from this trade route that he's on, hopefully he'll grab that horse and utilize it. Awesome. But yeah, you can see we are sustaining with the food. It's not like we have like tons of food, but like we're sustaining basically just from this berry deposit being active again. We need to kind of let it replenish a little bit again, so we'll take them off here temporarily. But once this veggie garden kicks in, and then once we're getting back into the fishing heavy and everything here again, I feel like we'll be good. And then we're also going to get a bunch of pigs, right? So we got all these animal pens that we put in, so we can go pigs. Pigs, because we've been making sales on our regional well, so we have the money, and we also got some from taking those camps back. Pigs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 sets of piggies now as well, so we'll start generating some pork passively, and our affinity bonuses from the environment will hopefully help increase our production on that too. Because we just need as much as possible, obviously, as you can see. I mean, we have a massive amount of people in our town now, and they're hungry and all that. So, but yeah, this is all looking really good, guys. We'll wrap it up pretty soon here. I just wanted to make sure to show that how you can utilize that like surge of pop growth and actually be able to sustain it. So it's not just like a party trick. It is kind of a party trick, I would say. I mean, I gotta imagine that this is not what the developers intended, right? That being said, this entire game is pretty much full of things that are not what the developers intended or whatever. Anyways, so it's just one of those things. But yeah, it's been a thing in the game for a while now. I don't know, maybe even since the beginning. I learned about this at least 6 months ago, probably even a little longer. So. It's been a thing in the game for quite a while. Alright, our retinue is back, so we can just disband them. Good job, guys. Thanks for getting all those riches for us. Okay. We're keeping an eye on this fish pond. Like I said, we just want to let that tick probably one more time. And I just want to leave the video at a spot where it's kind of like, yep, now we're, you can see how you can kind of take it from here, you know what I mean, and really sustain. Maybe at that point you could even go grab those other bandit camps that are still out there and just keep on growing like crazy, so it's really just however you can utilize this, however much that you can account for, really. But look at all these great veggies that we're getting planted over here, for example. Once those start coming in, I feel like we're going to be we're going to be fine on food supply. We've got all these pigs in here, so over the next like month or two, we should be able to see that that's going to be looking quite good. We're going to be leaving it in a really good spot. Okay, so that ticked up again. See, now it's over 300, so that's great. Let's go ahead and double staff the fishing again. Berries are starting to pile up again. We can staff that. We can build an herb garden on here. Why not? Just in case someone gets sick, then take care of that. But yeah, I mean, everything is... We should probably upgrade our granary too, to be honest. Let's go ahead and upgrade the granary. Because we want to make sure that the granary has extra food, hand carts and everything. So like, for example, when this veggie garden has a massive yield, then they can just quickly get all the supplies out of there so they're not full on their storage, their pantry supply, and hindering their harvest and stuff like that. But yeah, now everything's basically just going to be on an uptick now. Granary's finishing up here. I mean, we've got plenty of timber and planks, and see, like, we've been using the tools. This is just basic thing that I recommend for pretty much every playthrough. You can just go to your trading post. It's a minor trade category. Just go to tools, put them on import, and set a surplus of something like, I don't know, I usually set like 10, but for this one we probably don't even need that many. I'll just put like 7. That should be fine. And then that way, whenever you need tools, they're just gonna passively get imported, and it's not really, like, they're not really that expensive. You're probably not even gonna really notice it, to be honest, with your regional wealth. You can even add a few more pig pens over here. You can see the berries are sustaining a little bit more. We can add another person on there. See, we're getting a good amount of fish out of that pond now. Got some more animal pens ready. We can get some more pigs. So yeah, we can see some pork starting to come in. Boom, look at that. All of a sudden we just got like a dozen pork right there. We've got a solid amount of berries and the fish. And so we can see now we're bouncing back, you know. So now our food. So this is the point where honestly I would say you could send out your retinue again and do that whole thing over again and go aggro those other bandits and bring them over here and get them to move into your town. We're not going to do that here because we're going to wrap up the video, but you know, we haven't, you know, been active with adding more living spaces and all that kind of stuff, but that would be the next plan. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys how, you know, this could transition into actually being sustainable with you know, having enough food and all that kind of stuff if you were to do this crazy strategy. And we can see here too, this veggie garden is fully planted. As soon as the harvest comes around, that's going to be a massive yield. I mean, obviously we have more than enough food here. So I think that's a GG here on this challenge, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. At least found it interesting. If you want to try it for yourself, you know, go for it. Let me know how it turns out. I would be very interested to hear your thoughts and your experiences if you do it for yourself, and you know what crazy ideas you guys can come up with and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, you can see here we've got plenty of regional wealth too. Our approval's more than fine. We've got our food supplies keep rising. We were at like 1 month and 2 months, 3 months, so we're just getting more and more ahead. As soon as those carrots are harvested, that's going to be massive. We're going to have more than enough food. So everything is looking really good. Like I said, you could even go and aggro those other bandit camps and have even more insane population growth. So yeah, guys, that is going to be it for this video. Wanted to keep it around the 1 hour mark, and I pretty much showcased all of the main strategies and all the key information here. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you're, you know, maybe newer on the channel, or maybe you've been watching videos and just haven't remembered or had the chance to subscribe, really appreciate it. If you you know, any support on the channel means a lot and goes a long way. So really hope to see you guys in the next video. I'll be looking forward to that. I have been working on a farming guide and some other information which should hopefully be helpful for the new patch, which should be coming out here very shortly. Maybe even by the time you're watching this video, the patch is officially out and off of the beta with all the new features. But until then, guys, appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. And that's going to be it for now. Here is our town. And that was it. That's the crazy strategy, guys. All right. Thank you so much, guys. And peace for now.